Chicago Bears training camp is officially underway. I'm going to give you guys my biggest takeaways from the first 2 days of training camp. So with that being said, what is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports all back at it with another video talking some NFL. Here to talk about the Chicago Bears and here to talk about training camp. So if you guys are a fan of the Bears and a fan of the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. Appreciate that. Hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so football season approaching, people. Training camp is here, so you know that means we are full steam ahead for football season. But let's talk about what we've seen so far in training camp. I'm going to give you guys my big picture takeaways here from the first 2 days. And the first place we got to start with is, of course, the offense with the quarterback, right? Caleb Williams looking more and more comfortable in the offense. In fact, Keenan Allen even said the following, that Caleb Williams called the plays way better than he was calling them at OTAs. So love to see that progress increasing. And more importantly, more than just the fact that, Caleb is getting better and Caleb is getting more comfortable in the offense, the chemistry is being built, right? The chemistry is being built and you see it. But it's not just from training camp. It's been building since before training camp, throughout the offseason. And I have a couple quotes here talking about the chemistry, especially between Keenan Allen and Caleb Williams. And he said the following: just being able to sit there with him, he called out the play, I draw it up, vice versa, while we're sitting there watching the NBA playoffs. Allen said, just being able to go through it with him. We talk about the play, what I like, what I'm used to, what I usually see, and then going over the knowledge, making sure we're on the same page, just being able to communicate at this level. Obviously, you've got new terminology from college, and you're going to get different coverages too. And then he continued saying, he's the quarterback. At the end of the day, it all runs through him. I can see things how I see them. I can be a jerk about it, but that's not me. That's not the way I learned the game. That's not the way I play the game. I cater to the quarterback. I'm trying to be his best friend, stuff like that. As long as I get to the spots that he likes at the timing that he likes, then we'll be fine. Head coach Matt Eberflus even talked about sort of the comfort level with Caleb. They've not held back at all. They've thrown everything at him. He said the following: we gave him a lot during the spring and in the summer. Formation, motion, understanding a concept, run kills, killer to run, killer to pass alerts. All those things were a couple levels of up, and you could see it. How do you see it? You see it in the execution. They're in and out of the huddle. I think we only had one day today where they weren't, and it was much better. So you see that Caleb Williams has been putting in the work even before training camp, and it is showing up now with training camp and him executing it. He had some nice throws, had a sweet ball to Tyler Scott where you could see the talent, the arm talent being there. I just love the release. The thing with Caleb, and I hate to, go back to the previous quarterback with Justin Fields, but the thing that I love with Caleb is the release is so much smoother when it comes out of his hands. It's effortless. There's no hitch. There's no, timidness. It's a natural throwing motion and just makes things so much easier when you have just that natural arm talent like Caleb does. So obviously, kudos to him for working on that. But yeah, the first big takeaway really, man, is the chemistry. Him developing the chemistry with Keenan, with DJ Moore, with Cole Kmet, with Gerald Everett, and with a lot of the running backs as well. A good portion of training camp thus far, even though Caleb has tried to challenge the ball down the field, he's taken what the defense has given him with sort of these dump offs to the running backs, into the flat, into the middle. So I love that. Caleb does not need to be Superman, and he's not going to get to be Superman every play in the NFL. This is the NFL. This isn't college. So the windows are tighter. It just gets much harder. Sometimes you live to see another play, and you live to take the check down. And that's what I like that Caleb is doing. The second big takeaway is the center spot, right? That's been my biggest question in the entire offseason, which is who is going to be that starting center. Now, we didn't really get a clear answer because it was Ryan Bates with the ones on day one, and then it was Coleman Shelton with the ones on day two. So maybe that is the answer, in that we're not going to have a clear starter, if you will. It'll kind of be a hot hand approach, right? Whoever is playing the position better, whoever Caleb has more chemistry with, that guy is going to go ahead and sort of be that starting center. Now, this makes all the sense in the world because you have two guys who are experienced, who have played center, who can contribute, and you want to give the guy who is, executing better the starting job, but you got to be able to test it out, right? And that's what you're going to do in training camp. You're going to obviously test it out. And that's what they've been doing. So I expect this to continue. I think they're going to have them interchangeably at the center spot, both of them. But obviously by the regular season, by week 1, you're going to have a starter. My money's still on Ryan Bates being that guy. But we'll see. We'll see. So let's see what happens there. Finally, third takeaway is the defense is still elite. Like, the defense has been sort of ahead of the offense through the first 2 days of training camp, and that makes all the sense in the world as well. We're talking about a group that's been together for a number of years now versus an offense that has a brand new quarterback, and you are going to have some struggles. So Caleb Williams going up against a Bears defense that caught fire at the end of last season. Like, it's not going to be, rainbows and sunshine for Caleb going up against this defense. He's going to get tested. I like that. He did have an interception, I think, against Tyreek Stevenson, who's coming on strong too as well. I expect big things out of him. So the defense, I think, for the first half of training camp is probably going to get the better of Caleb. But by the back half, I'm hoping that the offense really starts to click on all cylinders. Caleb gets more comfortable, and then we see the offense kind of explode from there. So that's what training camp is all about. I've said this before. I'll say it again. This is the time for Caleb to go ahead and also try things. I mentioned earlier how, taking checkdowns is important because, in the NFL, the windows are tighter and it's harder. But in training camp is the time to try these tight windows. And it's time to try to see if you can get the ball to a guy who's in tight coverage. It's the time to try. So I don't mind the interceptions at all. Caleb is out there throwing interceptions, but, they're quote-unquote good interceptions because they are things like that. I'm okay with it because that's when you're going to get to try. This is practice, right? So that's where we're at. So overall, folks, those are my 3 takeaways. I'm going to continue to update you guys throughout the training camp on how things are going. But I'm so excited for the season to start, man. Stick with me here on the channel. I'm going to provide that coverage for you guys. And once the season starts, oh my goodness, it is going to be incredible. So let me know what you guys think, man. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts. As always, thanks a lot.